Every summer, hordes of giant sea lions descend upon the subantarctic Auckland Islands. Hundreds of giant spider crabs will perform one of the most bizarre mating rituals in the animal kingdom. Yellow-eyed penguins must navigate the labyrinth of hungry sea lions to keep their chicks alive. And a newborn sea lion will struggle to survive on this savage island of giants. Isolated in the Southern Ocean, almost the last stop between New Zealand and Antarctica, is an archipelago of many islands, including Auckland, Adams, and Enderby, known collectively as the Auckland Islands. Formed from the remains of two 12-million-year-old volcanoes, howling winds and pounding waves have carved these islands into a beacon of life in the bleak Southern Ocean. It's the beginning of the short sub-Antarctic summer, and blooming red rata forests and fields of bizarre mega-herbs symbolize the explosion of new life to come. At Sandy Bay, this somewhat deserted beach will soon become very crowded. These are New Zealand sea lions. And this 400-kilogram giant with a massive furry mane is the dominant male on Enderby Island. To earn his title of beachmaster, he's fought off wave after wave of challengers. In conflicts which can turn deadly. He's secured his dominance for now. But the mature female sea lions won't arrive for another week. He'll need all the strength he can muster to win the bloody battles to come and hold on to his mating rights. Further down the beach, sub-adult male sea lions, nicknamed Sammies by researchers, can barely contain their excitement at the change of season. They are sexually mature, but there's no way the beachmaster will allow them any mating rights this year. Their playful skirmishes are a hint of what is to come in their future, when they are big enough to challenge for the right to mate. For now, some even practice their moves on one another. At the water's edge, a year-round resident of Enderby Island arrives. He's a yellow-eyed penguin, one of the rarest penguins in the world. He's just returned from a hunting trip that took him nearly 25 kilometers offshore. And now, he scans the beach for danger. Hungry sea lions can devour any careless penguin. But fortunately, the massive mammals seem preoccupied for now. He carries on towards home, But soon this journey will require careful strategy for him to stay alive. As the yellow-eyed penguin ventures inland, the Samis take their play into the sea. Underwater, their battles take on a playful note. As they roar bubbles and nip at each other. Youngsters zoom endlessly through the kelp which borders the Auckland Islands coasts. These kelp forests could be mistaken for those on America's California coast. But strangely, there appears to be very few fish. There's an occasional cod. But instead, numerous invertebrates fill the nooks and crannies. It's a kingdom of crustaceans down here. And the true royalty are the giant spider crabs. Measuring nearly a meter across from leg tip to leg tip, this female roves the sea floor on a constant search for food buried in the sand. She and her sisters spend all year in the shallows here, sporting elaborate Mardi Gras-style headdresses of algae, which grow on their shells. In contrast, male giant spider crabs live most of the year in trenches up to 500 meters deep. But every summer, these males begin an epic migration from the depths to the shallows, driven by the urge to mate. Male giant spider crabs grow twice as big as the females. And this old man crab's massively long legs carry him slowly but surely towards his goal. Soon, he and thousands of his kind will form a huge congregation as they begin one of the most bizarre rituals in the animal kingdom. On Sandy Bay, the first female sea lion arrives. And a gang of giants mob her. Driven by raging hormones, the males rip into each other. And the female is in the direct path of their massive canine teeth. If this onslaught continues, the season's first female could be crushed. All the sea lions on Sandy Bay Beach are distracted by the chaos caused by the arrival of the breeding season's first female. But now the dominant beachmaster charges into the fray. This is what he has fought off all his challengers for. The other bulls retreat, and the beachmaster claims her as the first member of his harem. All over the Auckland Islands, other residents prepare for a summer of love. One of the largest birds in the world soars over Enderby Island on its 3-meter wingspan. Now, the massive southern royal albatross reunites with its lifelong partner. They've spent the last 12 months apart, circumnavigating the globe. But every 2 years, they find each other here on this remote subantarctic island to carry out this courtship ritual again. Close by, young southern royal albatross don't yet have mates. But during the summer months, they hone their romance skills. They gather in small groups called gams and practice their peculiar courtship dance on each other. Giant petrel juveniles have their own techniques to attract females. With wings spread, young males chase each other and follow up with a head sway routine. They'll perfect their moves over the next few years until they're ready to start their own monogamous relationships. On ancient basalt cliffs, Auckland Island shags are dressed for courtship. Both males and females display the mating mohawk. And in the dense colony, couples perform complex synchronized moves, which cement their commitment to each other for the season. Up in the Rata forest, about 500 meters from the beach, the yellow-eyed penguins are a little ahead of the game. A male returns from fishing at sea, and as he swaps places with his mate, their 2 eggs are revealed. The male takes over incubation duty, while his mate heads out to brave the increasingly crowded beach. Multiple harems have formed here now. In each one, up to 25 female sea lions are protected by a single bull. The giant beachmaster has the most females, of course. And he's kept busy policing attempts by cunning Sammies to harass females when his back is turned. For the yellow-eyed penguins, the beach has turned into a minefield of giants with teeth. One penguin has already misjudged its beach navigation. This little guy is an ominous reminder of the voracious predators that also lurk below the waves. If this female doesn't watch her step, she could face a similar fate. Fortunately, she And her neighbors have a plan. Yellow-eyed penguins are usually solitary. But during the sea lion breeding season on Enderby Island, penguins band together to beat the odds. They form a walking bus to navigate the dangerous section of the beach. With extra pairs of eyes, the penguins have a better chance of detecting danger. On the east coast of Auckland Island, Waterfall Inlet is the final destination for the migrating male giant spider crabs. With numerous males heading in the same direction, their paths now intersect. Massive claws can literally tear their opponents limb from limb. So smaller antagonists often retreat before big males can do too much damage. At Waterfall Inlet, beneath a swirling sand cloud, males join females in a scene out of nightmares. This migrating male reaches the finish line and takes his place in the swarm of giant crabs. The crowded Enderby Island beach is now transformed into a mass birthing ward. All these pups were fathered by the bull sea lions last year. Now, under the beachmaster's watchful eye, this harem provides his females with protection from obnoxious males. In return, he gets to mate with all of the females after their pups are born. But there are always challenges. If these two males are evenly matched, they could fight to the death. On Sandy Bay, the two sea lion brawlers are dangerously close to the females giving birth and newborn pups. But the beachmaster's superior strength overcomes his rival. The females can now continue their labor in peace. But not all mothers have textbook births. This one delivers her pup, but the fetal membrane is still wrapped around the pup's head. If he doesn't break free, he'll suffocate. new mother urgently calls to her pup. And finally, success. These first moments are crucial, as mum and pup memorize each other's scent and sounds, so they can find each other if they are ever separated on the crowded beach. Nearby, another pup is born. As the new mother begins to bond with her infant, one of her neighbors appears very interested. She then does something extraordinary. The kidnapper blocks the mother from contact with the newborn. And then the kidnapper's own pup is caught up in the chaos. Both females are now totally confused. The beachmaster arrives and gives the wronged female a nip on her face. And the pups are now well and truly mixed up. The new mom knows this one isn't her pup. Finally, she recognizes the scent of her infant. And the baby can suckle for the first time. A female arrives back from hunting at sea. And as usual, mobs of males pursue her. But this female has a plan B. The males may be big and strong, but she is faster, with more stamina. When she reaches the grass, even the last desperate Sammy loses interest. Strangely, she continues inland towards the rata forest. Every year, a small number of females choose to give birth away from the breeding beach. She reunites with her fast-growing pup, who's been waiting for mum to return, away from the dangers on the beach. Nearby in the rata forest, the yellow-eyed penguin family is about to double in size. The first chick is almost free from its shell, and its sibling won't be far behind. Back from her hunt at sea, as always, the female receives a warm welcome from her partner and settles in to watch over her chicks as they begin life in this subantarctic world. On the basalt cliffs, the Auckland Island shags are housekeeping. The skills to build and maintain a sturdy nest are crucial for breeding success. dried grass is the preferred building material. But it seems that this shag hasn't got the memo. And his neighbors don't appreciate it when he takes a shortcut through their homes, carrying his bundle of greens. Perhaps he'll have better luck next year. Below the surface at Waterfall Inlet, thousands of crabs wait in the sand cloud for a mysterious trigger to begin their mating ritual. In spite of their fearsome appearance, the giant spider crab's claws are capable of the most delicate touch, such as removing a growth from an eye. This female is close to releasing eggs she has carried since the last breeding season. Tenderly, her lethal claws explore her eggs, and she can pick out those that are diseased or infertile. As always in nature, nothing is wasted. Massive claws aren't just for grooming purposes. Females sift through the sand, picking out microscopic morsels of decaying plants and animals, while males prefer to dine on fresh meat from the shell. The scent of a kill attracts unwanted attention. These are squat lobsters, and they are a frequent pest to giant spider crabs. The massive crab shoos away the invaders like houseflies. But even his best efforts can't keep the tiny crustaceans from thieving part of his meal. Other year-round locals are inconvenienced by the arrival of the giant spider crab congregations. These tiny swiveling eyes belong to a mantis shrimp, and they spy danger. Giant spider crab legs are a constant hazard to those who burrow in the sand. This mantis shrimp is evicted from his home and must maneuver through the pack of crabs. To settle in a new burrow. When he spots potential prey, his victims don't stand a chance. On Sandy Bay, the beach is raucous with the sounds of new life. This is the moment the beachmaster has been waiting for. With all the pups born, his females are now ready to mate. While the beachmaster is distracted, a Sammy sneaks into the harem. He seizes the moment, but his opportunity is short-lived. The beachmaster secures his harem, but during the chaos, he tramples a newborn. His mum calls desperately to her pup. But there's nothing she can do to shift this 400-kilogram mountain of flesh. On Sandy Bay, a pup suffocates as the huge beach master shows no sign of budging. Then, in the nick of time, his raging hormones kick in, and he moves off to mate. Miraculously, the pup appears unharmed. Other newborns aren't so lucky. On the outskirts of the harem lurk the scavengers, skewers, and giant petrels which resemble albatross in size. But unlike oceanic hunters, these petrels are the vultures of the sea. These opportunistic birds have been waiting for this moment all year, and their bloodied faces mark their success. A mother sea lion nuzzles up against her pup, which has died during birth. But even though her pup is dead, this mother's protective instinct is still strong. The cleanup is a nasty business. But these scavengers play a critical role in this ecosystem. And back at the nest, the skewer's motivation is revealed. They have offspring to feed also. Skewer are exceptionally good parents, with both mum and dad caring for their chicks 24/7. Dad arrives back from Sandy Bay with plenty of food to share with his demanding offspring. Dinner time at the skewer nest is not for the squeamish. Once their bellies are full, this chick displays the attitude these precocious youngsters begin their lives with. Huge, giant petrel chicks also benefit from the rich pickings on Sandy Bay. This one has a lot of growing to do before she reaches her 1-meter wingspan. Until then, most of the time, it will be her dad who feeds her. Nearby in the rata forest, a sea lion pup calls for his mum. He's 3 weeks old now, and used to his mum's absence as she hunts at sea. Today, instead of waiting around, the pup heads out to explore. In the forest, he finds a mud pool. Sea lion pups often learn to swim in ponds like this. Soon, his antics attract the attention of another pup. Before long, 2 sea lion pups share their first experience of life as a marine mammal. At the yellow-eyed penguin nest, the chicks grow bigger by the day. To keep the little ones happy, Mum and Dad are on a constant hunting rotation. But Dad's almost out of his food reserves. And Mum hasn't been back for 48 hours. As evening falls, a raft of penguins approach Sandy Bay. They're now coming ashore in groups. Another strategy designed to protect them from the sea lions. The leader makes a snap decision. They find a less crowded section of beach and carefully navigate the maze of sleeping giants. Finally, Mum is back with a belly full of food for her chicks. Night falls at Sandy Bay, and the beach is silent. But beneath the waves, the party is just beginning. In Waterfall Inlet, giant spider crabs pile on top of each other in preparation for the mating extravaganza to come. It's dawn on Sandy Bay, and the harems stir. The pups often group together in a creche now, while the mothers prepare to leave them to hunt at sea. Females must feed regularly to provide enough rich milk for their pups. But bull sea lions without their own harems blockade any attempts to go to sea. These females, however, have a plan. It's as if a secret signal is being passed around. Despite the best efforts of some very cranky bulls, these females are off. On the east coast of Auckland Island in Waterfall Inlet, the congregation of crabs begin their bizarre ritual. Most of them now move towards one of many towering pyramids. This is a molting mound. Every year, immature crabs shed their outer shells in order to grow bigger. As they molt, their new shells are temporarily soft, leaving them vulnerable to predators. So they pile on top of one another for safety. A sea lion lurks in the waters above. These crabs are one of its favorite foods. It spies a crab heading for the mound. this crab hasn't molted yet, it's too hard to eat. So it reaches the safety of the molting mound unscathed. A huge old man crab also arrives at the mound. But he is not here to molt. He joins a group of other fully grown males to form a ring around the molting mound. It's not to protect the molting crabs from sea lions, however. Many females in the mound will be ready to breed for the first time as soon as they finish their molt. So the males gather and wait. Near the molting mound, a fight breaks out over a female. The old man crab on the left stands over a female he has claimed. But smaller males try to steal his prize from underneath. The old man crab wrenches the female free. But then, the female is gravely wounded, and the male's motives shift. His potential mate becomes his next meal. He carries his corpse bride to a quiet place where he can eat her in peace. On Sandy Bay, female sea lions return from hunting to reunite with their pups. But one pup's mum has not returned. He heads away from the harem, crying out for her. Further down the beach, a female sea lion moans in pain, while her attacker lurks in the waters below. 1 in 5 sea lions return from hunting with the unmistakable signature of great white shark jaws. Her wound has bled out, and she is dying. If this is the lone pup's mother, he will also not survive. By late afternoon on Sandy Bay, a baby still cries for his mum. He's starving, so heads out to search for his mother. But this beach is a dangerous place for a lone pup. A skua follows close, calculating its chances. The pup seeks the safety of another mum, which proves to be a big mistake. Without his mother's milk, the pup will slowly starve to death. But then, a female returns from her hunt. Unscathed and full of rich milk, mother and pup reunite. But in the Rata forest, a hungry sea lion pup searches for his mother, who will never return. In Waterfall Inlet, the seafloor is now eerily deserted. All that remains are the empty shells of giants. Although, of course, the squat lobsters seek out those carcasses with flesh still attached. They'll keep busy cleaning up the seafloor until next year's congregation of giants arrive. An old man giant crab now begins his return migration to the dark, deep trench where he lives. It's late summer now, and the harems dispersed 4 weeks ago. Soon the males will drift away back to sea to hunt. On the hills above the beach, a giant petrel chick has nearly lost all of its down and will soon take to the sky, while a southern royal albatross chick will be nurtured for several more months by a doting parent. The yellow-eyed penguin chicks are just weeks away from fledging and will soon follow the adults down to the beach to swim for the first time. One female sea lion still has an important task to complete. Her pup is about to face the ultimate test, his first ocean swim. His mother patiently coaxes him closer and closer to the sea. And demonstrates what fun this can be. But he's still uncertain. His mother leads him onto a rock platform. The kelp seems sturdy, so he reluctantly follows his mum and tastes the salty water for the first time. Now, it's just a matter of time before this young subantarctic sea lion will be zooming through the kelp and fighting for his own harem on this savage island of giants.